woman right there, convicted of stabbing her boyfriend to death, only gets a slap on the wrist. She faced the possibility of life in prison for stabbing him 108 times. But the judge ruling that she had no self-control while in a cannabis-induced psychosis. Todd Pyro is live in the studio with the shocking details. Todd.
This is a head-scratcher, Ainsley. The judge is sentencing 32-year-old Bryn Speecher to 100 hours of community service, 2 years probation, and the big one, no jail time. She broke down in tears after a jury convicted her of involuntary manslaughter last month. California judge claims she had no control over her actions after stabbing the victim, Chad O'Meala, 108 times. Psychiatrists in the case claim the incident was, quote, 100% caused by cannabis-induced psychosis after the 30...
In this round, here's Quanell X.
Charles, this story coming out of California is an absolute disgrace and a joke. This white lady, Bryn Speckler, this lady was sentenced to probation after killing her boyfriend, stabbing him 108 times with a knife. And yet she was found guilty by a jury, and a judge, a no good, low down judge, in my opinion, turned around and gave her probation, no jail time. It is because, in my opinion, she had the complexion for the protection. If this was a black woman who had killed anybody else, black or white man, she'd be on the way to San Quentin or Pelican Bay. This is strictly because this was a white girl who had the right complexion for the white complected judge that looked like her to show her some sympathy and mercy. You cannot show me anywhere in California where a black or brown woman stabbed her boyfriend over 108 times, an unprovoked attack, and a black and brown woman killed him. And that black and brown woman got probation. This is strictly a benefit for a white woman and a white judge who gave her a kiss on the wrist, not even a slap on the hand, when she faced up to life in prison. This is a damn shame.
Well, she didn't face up to life in prison. She was convicted of involuntary manslaughter, which is far, far lower punishment range than murder, like you're suggesting. And I have tremendous issues with her sentence and what she was charged with. But your race to call this race contravenes the overwhelming evidence that it's an incredible liberal state. Now, Thousand Oaks, very affluent suburb surrounded by Calabasas, and in Westgate or Westlake Village, I was just out there a couple of weeks ago. It is for the rich people, but it's in Ventura County, which has like an interesting cross-section of people. So I don't think we can assume the race or the decision-making being driven by race of the judge.
Ain't no black folk in Ventura County running nothing. Let's not pretend they are.
There are plenty of African-American and Latin murder suspects or murderers in Los Angeles County who are not being prosecuted, juveniles not being prosecuted.
But when they are prosecuted and found guilty by a jury for killing somebody, show me what he got probation.
Newsom let tons of murderers out, but here's my real concern. I got a different concern. My concern is when you say, look, you can use drugs, and if you commit a crime, you can walk. And that's a problem. Because
if you're white.
She should not have been charged with involuntary manslaughter. You stab somebody 108 times to death. You know what we call that? We call that murder. And the very suggestion that you could say, hey, I was high on weed, wacky tobacco, oh, so it wasn't me. First of all, that's not how weed works. I don't know about you, but I've smoked my fair share of marijuana, and it makes you a lot nicer, not a lot meaner.
I too have had weed in my life.
Okay.
This is true.
And now crystallized methamphetamine might make you crazy. Coke, crack.
Never touched Sherman.
There are wet.
There was some good skunk.
Formaldehyde, whatever. That stuff will make you crazy.
No, see, you smoke formaldehyde.
No,
that's smoking fry.
What I'm saying is
that's smoking amp.
Fry and wet
I'm sure.
will make you crazy, do horrible things, right? Because I've represented people that is in my criminal defense practice.
They call it butt naked in the hood.
Butt naked, right? I'll make you get butt naked because you get real hot. That's what I had a client explain to me. But that'll make you hear people doing fry and killing people, right? People doing wet and killing people. You don't hear about somebody
show me
smoking
one that killed somebody that got probation.
That's right, and that's my problem.
The only one you can show is this pretty looking white woman, out of California.
I wouldn't go as
But
far as to
ain't
call
no
that
black
weirdo
women in
looking
California
one.
getting that kind of privilege.
I wouldn't call.
Ain't no Hispanic women getting that kind of privilege in California. This was strictly a benefit based on white privilege and the complexion for the protection. And she was initially charged with murder. The jury convicted her on the lesser included charge of manslaughter.
But the thing is that they allow that out there in California, right? The argument that intoxication, voluntary intoxication on drugs, should excuse criminal violence is insane. In the Pacific Northwest in Portland, they were trying to make it a statutory defense to prosecution. Oh, well, I was high on drugs. I can't be responsible for killing somebody. That's crazy, right? I don't care if you rob a store, beat your wife, whatever you do. Because let's play this math out.
The system is broke, Charles.
Let's play this math out a little bit further.
It's absolutely broke.
If she can do that with murder, right? So let's say you drink a bunch of cold beers, get behind the wheel, and kill a family of 4. Should you be able to argue, I didn't know what I was doing, I was drunk?
Maybe if you're white.
I was drunk.
Maybe if you're white.
Well, the whole math is insane. White, brown, black. And then stop acting like the People's Republic of California is a conservative state, because we both know it's not.
It don't matter. Liberal white folks, in the words of Minister Malcolm X, are some of the most dangerous white folks, your liberal white folks.
Okay.
And so liberal California act like they love black people, but ain't no love for us.
Oh, how do you assume that everybody thinks along racial lines just because you do?
Do you
right?
honestly believe that if she was black, she got probation?
She should not have been allowed.
That's not the question. If she was black, you think she got probation?
In the same situation, the same county, I agree.
You know what? You should run for office.
Okay, I probably should.
You could be president.
But I'm not going.
The way you lying right now, you could be president.
Oh, obviously, our criminal justice system has been designed systemically to oppress African Americans for decades. Now, in California and other places in America, it has shifted away from that. And what you're seeing, like you look at a lot of people charged in January 6th versus people charged for arson and other craziness during the Portland protests or for the attacks during the 2016 Trump inauguration, very disparate, right? The Justice Department seems to want to punish conservatives far more than it does liberals. So that pendulum has swung.
And that was a really watered down protest January 6th.
Yeah, it really was. But, I mean, it's inappropriate. They attacked officers. People should be going to prison.
I've been in much liver protest than that.
But people that are violent toward federal police or federal, they should all go to prison. It shouldn't just be the conservatives. But the math is changing in America, but it's not changing in the right way, right? We need fair. We need justice is blind, and we don't have that anymore. But she should never have been allowed
we don't have it anymore.
by the law.
We don't have it anymore.
We never had it.
Oh,
I'll
thank
agree.
You. There you go.
So, but we should not be allowing criminal defendants of any race, of any gender, of any story to say, oh, I did something horrible. And I am pro legalizing drugs. But if you use drugs and you do something awful, you got to pay the cost.
I can agree with legalizing natural marijuana.
She should be rotting in prison.
I can agree with legalizing natural marijuana, but not any other drugs. No,
we need to legalize all. If you could get clean amphetamine, you'd never buy meth. If you could get clean opioids, you never buy fentanyl. There are housewives all over Thousand Oaks taking clean amphetamines, not methamphetamine. People buy methamphetamines to get the same result of amphetamines, right? Adderall, half of the colleges and high schools in this country, those kids are eating amphetamines, right?
Man, y'all some real dope heads. Good Lord.
Look, man, I want to legalize drugs so people can use clean drugs, but I don't think people...
Clean drugs?
But people should... All these people dying from
fentanyl. Even pharmaceutical drugs are hurting and killing people.
I'm not saying they're not doing horrible things, but they're not killing people like
natural
fentanyl.
Herbs I can agree with, but cocaine, methamphetamine...
Weren't you just calling me a dopehead the other way because I use natural herbs?
Well, you use a lot of them the way you be talking.
Look, we need... Oh, there you go.